Hi, I'm Sandra, a certified yoga teacher turned stay-at-home mom of three, aged 3 and under. So today I'm coming to you with a video where I meld my two worlds of motherhood and yoga, and I'm addressing a problem that I personally experienced, a lot of parents probably do, and it is that tension that comes through the neck and the shoulders, sometimes referred to as nursing neck. However, it is generally caused from the idea that when you're cradling a baby, so often if you are nursing, breastfeeding, chest feeding, you're in a position like this. So if you're cradling a baby, also for bottle feeding, of course, it doesn't have to just be for breast or chest feeding, but even just cradling a baby, you see that rounding of the shoulders. Often you're glancing down at the baby, so the neck is in this sort of tucked position, your chest is caving in, and doing that repetitively or for long amounts of time, as you often are doing with babies, you get a lot of tension. I experienced a ton of tension in my neck. It affected my range of motion. It caused me lots of pain and even some tension headaches. So if you're experiencing that really sense of like tightness in those muscles through the upper shoulders, the neck, maybe even the upper back, then this short, easy sequence is for you to try to relieve some of that tension. So the sequence is meant for you to be able to sort of do it at any time throughout the day. You don't need any special equipment. It's not long, and you could even just pick a couple of the stretches out and do them sort of sporadically through the day to help you relieve that tension. So I'm sitting on a yoga mat, but you don't even need that if you don't have it handy. Let's get going. So finding a comfortable position to sit. You don't have to sit cross-legged like me if that's not accessible to you, but just finding a comfortable position that you can find a nice tall posture in. We're gonna go ahead and let those shoulders come back and down away from the ears, which already might feel like, oh, I haven't done that in a while. So from here, just closing the eyes for just a moment, taking a breath, if you're able to, and we're gonna take some shoulder rolls. So shoulder rolls backwards and forwards. When I'm doing my shoulder rolls, I also just like to bring some really gentle, slow movement in through the neck, just sort of to see where my range of motion, my tension is hiding today. So just moving my neck like this today, I can already feel some tension there. So just taking forwards and backwards rolls here. There's no wrong way to do it. We're just sort of waking up the muscles and seeing what we're working with today. From here, placing those hands back on the legs, shoulders back and down away from the ears. We're going to take just a couple breaths here if you have the time. Inhale through the nose, hands to the top, exhale through the nose, hands coming down. 2 more here. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. We're going to come into a side stretch and then into a side neck stretch. So to begin, one more inhale here, hands up to the top. You're going to take your right hand down to the mat on your exhale, letting that left arm reach up and over. So important here where the shoulders are, you want to keep the neck long. So this shoulder is away from the neck and this shoulder is away from the neck. So even as it's coming up and over, I'm not letting that shoulder creep up to the neck and ear. I'm keeping the neck nice and long. Chin is in a neutral position, so I'm not tucking, I'm not looking up, just in a neutral position, just reaching, breathing deeply into that side rib cage here. Now you're going to lift up to center with an inhale. And then as you exhale, you're going to take the left ear, to the left shoulder, and just let the hand gently come to the head to assist in that stretch. So we're working on this side neck here. My right hand, my right fingertips are reaching down toward the floor. So again, lots of length coming all the way through the top of that shoulder there. Fingertips are stretching down toward the floor. And again, there's not a lot of pressure here, just to sort of assist and hold in that stretch as you breathe here. As you inhale, we can release that. So you can hold that as long as is comfortable or you have time for it in your day. But of course, we want to do both sides. So inhale, take it up. Exhale, we're taking the left hand to the floor as we reach that right arm up and over. So same thing, you can see my shoulder was creeping up. Bring that shoulder away from the ear. breathing deeply into the side body. As you lift up to center with an inhale, I'm going to take that right ear to the right shoulder using the right hand for some assistance. For me, the side of my neck is much tighter, so I'm reaching those left fingertips down toward the mat and breathing into the tension that I'm experiencing. Inhale to let that go. So that is our first stretch sequence or pose. Again, if you only have time to do one or two of these stretches, then just pick your favorites. The next is Garudasana. So it is we're doing the upper body only of this pose, also known as eagle pose. So there's some modifications here as well. So to start, you're going to take the arms nice and wide, open through the chest. Ooh, you can feel that because when we're rounding, our chest gets very tight, so we're opening there. You're going to start by taking that right arm on top of the left as you cross it over. Now, to start, you might just take the hands to the shoulders, trying to stack those two elbows, keeping them in the middle of the body. Now, depending on the length of your arm bones, this might already feel like a great stretch through the back of the shoulders. The other area we're targeting here is the tops of the shoulders or the trapezius muscles. So you want to make sure, once again, we're not hugging those shoulders up. You're bringing them down, and I like to even take my hands and just gently pull down on those shoulders to help keep that stretch coming through the tops of the shoulders. You're also going to feel this through the back of the body, through the middle of the shoulder blades. So this is a great place to stay if that works for you and you're already feeling a lovely stretch. Second step would be to come into the arm bind or wrap. So my right arm is on top of my left, my right hand comes underneath, my left hand comes around, joining the hands here and bringing them up. So in this position, it intensifies for me, just because I do have longer arm bones. So it intensifies that stretch through the back of the shoulder blades. Now I want to bring those shoulders down and away from the ears. You can sort of play with the placement of that upper arm portion as well. Sometimes if I take my hands a little farther away from me or I move my elbows up or down, it changes where I feel the stretch. And then I'm feeling this through the tops of my shoulders, that trapezius down into the sides of my neck. So it's quite lovely. We're gonna breathe here and then release. And of course, we've got to do both sides. So you open up wide. We're going to take that left arm on top of the right. So same thing. You can start working here with that little press. And if you have the space in the arms for that arm bind, I did that really fast. So we take our left hand down, right arm over, joining the palms. Same thing, shoulders down. I find this one very effective, especially if I'm starting to get headaches from that neck tension. I really like this one to stretch out that area of the neck that often causes me those headaches. All right, releasing that, shake it out a little bit. Perfect. Now for this next one, I'm going to recommend taking the legs out long in front of you. However, if that doesn't work for you, if your hamstrings feel too tight today to do that, then you can also have the knees bent slightly here. But you want to take the hands, placing them just behind the hips, fingers pointing toward the toes or toward the legs. You're going to roll the shoulders back and down. So notice the difference. This is sort of neutral. This would be up, rolling them back and down, and your chest is open. You're going to lean back into those palms, really lift up through the sternum. So the very center of the chest there, you're lifting that up, keeping the shoulders back. You might lift the chin slightly. And you're just going to breathe into that opening through the chest and the front of the shoulders. My elbows are bent slightly, so I'm not locking out my arms. Depending on the length of your torso and the length of your arms, if it is uncomfortable or you're having a hard time reaching the floor here, you can always place a book or something under each hand to lift those hands up. If you have yoga blocks, those would be great for that as well. Foam blocks or cork blocks. So a couple of breaths there, shake it out. And we're up to our last one. I told you I was keeping this as short and simple. Obviously you can do this without listening to me speak it all through, so then it will go even faster. So we're gonna come into a child's pose for this last one. So I'm gonna recommend a wide-legged child's pose. So that just means your knees are wide, your big toes are touching back together. So I'm sitting back toward my heels. I'm going to round it forward, stretching the arms forward. So for this one, I'm really trying to release any tension in the neck. So you can let the arms relax just a little bit here. You don't have to keep them in a full stretch. So my elbows are going to bend a little. And the most important is I'm going to get my forehead to rest onto something. So if it's not the floor, if the floor feels too far away, placing a book or a yoga block or even a folded blanket under that forehead is going to work just fine. But you want to make sure that you can rest the forehead into something so that you can feel just the tension through the neck start to release as the head rests. Once you're there, I'm going to recommend some very gentle massaging of the forehead as you roll the head side to side. You'll see me do that in just a moment, just to again release the neck. Just like in the other ones, we want to make sure our shoulders are staying away from our earlobes here. So forehead down, deep breaths, and then just that gentle side to side movement as you massage through the forehead. But for me, this really starts to feel like that tension kind of melts away. You can stay here as long as you'd like. I recommend staying for at least 10 breaths and then slowly coming up and hopefully feeling a little bit better through the neck and shoulders. So if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. And if you have any other sort of parent-related ailments that you would like some yoga stretches for, be sure to let me know in the comments as well, and I can come to you with some more videos. Have a great one. Namaste.